Michigan State is going to be taking on Washington. This game is going to be played this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Washington currently is a 3-point favorite heading into this matchup. This game is going to be the first true test for both of these two teams who enter at 2-0. Michigan State has wins over Akron and Western Michigan. Washington has wins over Portland State and Kent State. And for the Huskies, this looks like a completely different football team under new head coach Kalen DeBoar than what it did under Jimmy Lake. And I mean, it is a night and day difference. And the fact that Washington finally has some offense is rejuvenating. Now, their quarterback is Michael Penix, who is a transfer from Indiana. And some of you guys may remember him from when Indiana had that Cinderella season in 2020. And Michael Penix kind of was a big story. He was really good that season. However, he had his season cut short due to a season-ending injury. And so far, he's looked really good, even though it has been against lower-level competition. And even though Michael Penix has looked sharp against lower-level schools, that still is encouraging, because back when he was playing with Indiana, the last time we saw him with the Hoosiers, he didn't look good at all. And it didn't matter if they were playing lower level competition or Power 5 level competition, Michael Penix didn't look good. So the fact that he has gotten out to such a good start definitely is encouraging. And he's going to have a big game if Washington wants to be able to win this one against a really good Michigan State team. And I think that a lot of people, when you look at Michigan State, they kind of think that last year was a pinnacle year for this program. And many people think that them and Mel Tucker are going to crash right back down to the earth this season. Now, nobody thinks that Michigan State is going to be like a 7 or 6 win team, anything like that. We all expect Michigan State to win at least 8 games this season, but they did lose a good amount of talent from last season. However, this offense, I still think, is going to be good as they were last season, minus having Kenneth Walker. You still do have Payton Thorne, who is one of the 3 best quarterbacks currently in the Big Ten. Your running back core, Jalen Berger, transfer from Wisconsin, looked really sharp last week. You also have Jarek Bouchard. Your wide receiving core, you got Jayden Reed, who happens to be one of the best receivers in the Big Ten. Keon Coleman also kind of has came on. So for Michigan State, we know what they love to do on offense. This is a explosive offense that generates a lot of big plays. And for Washington, the secondary is a little bit of a concern for me. Even though their defense from a box score standpoint looks dominant, if you go back and you look at those games, they definitely kind of got bailed out. They had some blown coverages and some plays that should have been big plays. However, the quarterbacks weren't good enough to hit on those plays, and they weren't able to deliver the ball accurately to make Washington pay for those mistakes. So I'm definitely eager in seeing how this Washington secondary performs against Michigan State's passing attack. And up front, Washington is really good when it comes to their defensive line and their linebacking core. As a matter of fact, I think that their defensive line may be the most talented in the Pac-12 this year. And on top of that, you have a good amount of depth there, so you can rotate guys in and keep guys fresh. And you look at Michigan State. Now, last year, their pass defense was awful. One of the worst in college football. So you're wondering how their pass defense and how their secondary is going to fare against Washington's offense. Now, Washington is absolutely stacked at wide receiver. I mean, they have NFL wide receivers galore in that wide receiver room. The Huskies do. However, Michigan State secondary, if you're a Spartans fan, you're hoping that it has improved. Mel Tucker has spent a lot of time with that unit personally over the course of this offseason and fall camp and whatnot. And the secondary definitely still has a lot to show me, because I want to see what they do against, top level competition. But they definitely have improved. You also do bring back a good amount of talent from last year. However, you're just looking to see who has developed, who has improved, and you just want to. It's okay to give up a big play or two here and there, but it seems like Michigan State was just allowing big plays to be ran on them every single time they had somebody drop back to throw the football on them. So I'm really intrigued in seeing how the secondary for both teams is going to be in this game. And whoever has the best secondary play is most likely going to end up winning this game. Now, Washington's third down defense definitely is something that has to be talked about because it's 120th in college football. And that's something that is a huge concern because how the hell is your third down defense struggling when you're playing Portland State and Kent State? You get in third down situations, you should be getting these teams off the field. So when you're playing a team like Michigan State, your third down defense is going to be important because even though a team like Michigan State can still beat you even if they don't have a good day converting on third down simply because of how explosive they are at generating big plays. However, if you can't get them off the field in third down situations, it's going to be a headache for you as a defensive coordinator because you might not stop them from scoring. So I think when you're playing a team like Michigan State, even though they aren't necessarily all that great on third down because they're not that efficient, however, if you put them in third down situations and your third down defense isn't good and you allow them to convert, then you're just putting yourself in for a hard afternoon on defense, basically, if you're the defensive coordinator. So that third down defense, they got to do something about that if you're Washington. But the talent definitely is there. I definitely understand why Vegas views Washington as a 3-point favorite in this matchup. And I'm going to take Washington to win this game. I think that Washington is good enough that they should be able to pull off this upset. I think that their defense is going to be able to keep them in this game if they do have some struggles offensively, even though I do think that Michael Penix should have a pretty good game, but he is a pretty streaky player, so you don't really know what to expect from him. But I do think that Kalen DeBoar has him playing some really good football, so I think he's going to be pretty good in this game. And you just look at how this season of college football has went so far. There's been a lot of upsets, and I definitely feel like this game kind of does have the making of that kind of feeling for Washington. And it's not really an upset because they are a 3-point favorite for a reason. So I think that this isn't really a team that is in rebuild mode because, I mean, they had talent. They just had poor coaching. This is a team that had a over-under win total of like 7.5, 8 wins going into this season. And I definitely think that they're going to be a factor in the Pac-12 championship picture. So I think Washington is going to win this game. And even though they're not ranked, I think this kind of would be considered an upset from a ranked AP top 25 standpoint, but I think that Washington should be able to pull off the upset. You just look at the fact that this offense really is clicking and their defense should perform at a pretty high level. I just have some concerns about, how Michigan State's defense is going to look in that secondary. So let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below. And I appreciate you guys for listening to this episode of the JT Sports Podcast. Remember that the JT Sports Podcast is available on all podcasting platforms. Wherever you get your podcast from, the JT Sports Podcast is available. And I will see you guys with another episode shortly.